Hi guys, this is TXG, and today we are going to be talking about my favorite album, IGOR by Tyler, the Creator. This is mainly just going to be like an album review / talking about the album and just giving my opinions on it, basically. So let's just get my first opinion out of the way. I think IGOR is definitely one of the best albums that I have ever heard. Every single song on the album has like this unique feel to it, and yet it all ties together beautifully and perfectly. And Tyler, I could tell that he put like a lot of effort, especially into Earthquake, New Magic Wand, and a lot more songs like that. This was definitely one of, if not his best albums. Definitely one of his best, because I think IGOR is just such a perfect album. I don't really know how to put it into words, but all I can say is that you have to listen to it to really know like how it feels, and just mainly everything about the album. You have to listen to it, because like on your first listen you may not get it as well, but I promise as you listen to it more and more, you're gonna start to understand it and appreciate it a lot more. And even I'll admit, on my first listen of IGOR, like when I first listened to it, I was not a fan of some of the songs. Like, I wasn't a fan of Puppet, What's Good, I Don't Love You Anymore. I wasn't a fan of those songs. But then I started seeing I started hearing the song more and more, and then as I started hearing it more and I understood its part in the story that IGOR tells, it like something like clicked, and like I understood what the songs were about, and I just had a much greater appreciation for all of those songs. And there are more songs besides the three that I just listed, but now I love those songs because I've listened to it more and more, and now I finally like understand its like true purpose in the story. And speaking of IGOR's story, let's get on to that. So basically, the story of IGOR tells the story of, well, IGOR, and he falls in love with a man, and at first he doesn't really know how to tell him how that he's in love with him. But then he starts finding out soon that he's running out of time, because that boyfriend that he is in love with is getting back with his ex, or is at least getting closer to his ex. So IGOR has the bright idea of trying to get rid of the girlfriend, and that doesn't work. So then the two have like some relationship problems, and IGOR realizes that he is kind of like this boy's puppet, pretty much. And so he gets tired of that, but then after all of that, he realizes that he doesn't love him anymore, and that he wants to move on, and he thanks him for just being in his life. And he constantly tells himself that he doesn't love him anymore, but it's really just him tricking himself into believing that, when he still wants to be around him. Like, he can't get over this person. And then by the end of the album, he still wants to be friends with this boy, and then they become friends again. And the cool thing is that this album is a musical loop, so everything I just listed happens over and over again. I think that is like probably one of the coolest elements of this album. It really makes me appreciate it a lot more. So what I'm kind of planning to do in today's video is kind of just go through the entire album and explain the story, or at least how I view the story. And also give my ratings on each songs. Notes, all of them are extremely positive. I don't really I don't really dislike any of the songs. I think all of them are absolute, like, classics. I think they're all just really nice songs. And with that, let's get into the review of IGOR by Tyler, the Creator. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel, if you want to, of course, because you subscribing really helps motivate me to make more videos. So, the first song that we are going to be looking at is called IGOR's Theme. This track is really something special. Like, I've always really liked this track, especially when I first listened to it. I loved just, like, the late night drive feels that I get with this song. Like, with the bass and the synths and the background vocals, just everything comes together just so perfect on this song. It's really hard to, like, find any negatives about it. I don't remember this exactly, but I think on the first time that I listened to it, like, I actually thought it was, like, a really good song on first listen, and it just kept getting better and better for me the more that I kept listening to it. So, this track, it doesn't really have any story elements unless you understand the rest of the story. And first, let's just get this out of the way. The IGOR album does not start at an official point. It's like a continuing story that continues over and over. So when IGOR starts, it doesn't start at the beginning. So IGOR's theme is not the true beginning. For me, I think either Earthquake or I Think is the beginning. And speaking of Earthquake was a really interesting song, especially on first listen and as I continue listening to it. I think, like, it actually is one of Tyler's best songs. It's really well produced, the synths, and especially that really cool bass in the background, and especially the background vocals. The background vocals on this song were just really good, and pretty much just every single thing about this song is just perfect. Like, I think it's really good, and the Playboy Cardi feature on it was also really cool, even though I couldn't understand half of what he was saying, like, most of the time, but I still think it was a great song, even with the Cardi verse. I think it was a great song. So, again, with this song, kind of like IGOR's theme, you're gonna have to understand the entire story in order to understand this song in its entirety. I won't tell you what I personally think of it, because like Tyler said in one of his posts about this album, you should have your own creative opinion about it, and it should, like, relate to you and to what you think the album means. So, yeah, this song is just like IGOR's theme. You don't really understand it unless you understand the whole story. But with that, let's move on to the next song. I Think is a very interesting song. And I know I've probably said that a couple times already, but pretty much, like, every song on this album is, like, really interesting. I Think has, like, this really interesting beat that not, like, many other Tyler songs have. Like, with other songs on IGOR, like, you kind of see some inspiration from, like, Flower Boy and maybe Cherry Bomb, or maybe, like, some of his earlier projects. But with I Think I haven't seen any other beats like this song before. Or maybe I'm just not looking deep enough. But I Think is a really good song. Like, pretty much just everything on it's pretty good. I like the piano at the end. I love the music video too. Like, the music video, like, really develops this song. Same with, like, all of the songs on this, pretty much the ones with the music videos. It really, like, extends, like the story a little bit. Like, it kind of, like, extends it. I think it's just really good overall, and I think you should totally go check it out. So basically, the story of I Think is Tyler, or Igor, finding his boy, or finding this man that he's in love with, and he starts developing feelings for him, and he's noticing that he's getting feelings for him during this song. And in the music video, he's at a party with this man, and he's going through crowds trying to find him, and at the end, this boy starts showing interest back for Tyler, or Igor. I think it's just a very interesting and unique and creative song, just entirely. The next song on this album is titled Boyfriend. Now, this is the point in the album where Tyler starts, at least in my opinion, actually starts telling the boy, like, that he wants to be his boyfriend. And he also, like, compliments the boy, and in the song, he says a line, like, "Stop pretending this is funny." And that basically implies that the boy thinks that he is joking, when in reality, the boy is actually Igor is actually trying to date this boy. I just think the music in this song is really unique and very, very, very different. I will admit, it takes a few listens before you actually get used to it. Because on my first listen of Boyfriend, I did not like it. I did not like it at all. But then, once I started listening to it and then I actually saw its point in the story, I was like, oh, I finally get it now. I like it a lot more now. And I think that's just basically for the entire album, pretty much. But Boyfriend's a really interesting song. It's got nice bass, got a really nice beat. Tyler actually high pitches his voice in most of this album, and in this song I think it works perfectly, and I think it just comes out to make an amazing song. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good song. The next song on Igor is titled Running Out of Time. This one was pretty cool when I first listened to it. I thought that the beat and the bass, the synths, I think they just all added together really well. Tyler's high-pitched voice on this song too also added a lot to it. I think it helped an extremely large amount, and I think it just made the song a lot better with his high-pitched voice. And now, the story of Running Out of Time is basically, like I said at the beginning, this is basically Tyler, or Igor, realizing that he is running out of time to tell his lover, or to make his lover fall in love with him, because his quote-unquote boyfriend is falling back in love with his ex. I think this song is really, really interesting. It's got a nice topic, the beat is everything, and the lyrics and words that he says on this song is also really good. And I think just this song, it's a very good one. It was a very impressive song on Igor when I first heard it. That's all I'll say for running out of time. I think that you should just go listen to it, because it really helps if you just listen to the lyrics. Because if you're not listening to the lyrics, I don't feel like it adds that much to the song. I feel like the lyrics along with the beat add to the album. The next song, which is actually my second favorite song on this album, is titled New Magic Wand. New Magic Wand is it's a perfect song. It's basically, so the song So basically, the story of New Magic Wand is basically Igor attempting to kill his boyfriend's ex, so that him and his lover can get together. And basically the entire song, he talks about his new magic wand, which is basically a gun, which is what he's talking about. And he just threatens to kill his ex and him if he doesn't pick a side. I think it's a very nice song topic. It's a very creative one too, and the music and the way that he just performs this song on the album, but also live, I think adds to the song a lot, and it's just really good. Like, I think overall, it's just really, really good. I really like New Magic Wand, and I love just this dark but also crazy beat that it gives off, and I think it just adds to the vibe of the song a lot. The next song is titled A Boy Is a Gun. A Boy Is a Gun was a really strange song when I first heard it. I really liked the beat that it used, and especially the sample that it used. I really liked that. Just pretty much the entire Boy Is a Gun song was just perfect, especially when I first listened to it, and especially when I kept listening to it. Then I saw the music video, and it added so much to it, and now, like, I understand it now, because basically this song is about their relationship being held at gunpoint, like almost ending, and Igor's boyfriend is the gun that's gonna end that relationship. A boy is a gun. I think it's a very creative song name, because when I first listened to it, and when I first heard that song title, I was like, what is this song about? Because, like, that doesn't make sense. But, like, then I understood it, and I was like, oh, it clicked. That's what this song is about. So yeah, I think Boy Is a Gun is a very, very solid song. Love the samples, love the don't shoot me down part, and especially the gun sound effect after. It's just really good. And yeah, I think it's just an overall really good song with a lot of good production, lot of good vocals, and pretty much just everything. Puppet is the next song. This is a really nice and interesting song about Igor basically realizing that he is this boy's puppet in a way, because he can do whatever he wants to Tyler, and Tyler doesn't realize it. But now he realizes that he basically is this boy's puppet. I think the entire song and the way that it, like, changes beats and all that, and the way that Tyler, like, becomes, like, restless when he realizes that he's a puppet, and then the Kanye feature and the background vocals, they just add, like, a lot to this song. I think it's a great song, story-wise and music-wise, and pretty much just everything in between. There's a lot to love with this song. I can't even, like, tell you. Puppet is just, like, a really strong and mature and, like, dark topic for a song. But the way that Tyler produces this beat and the lyrics and just all of that stuff, they all add up to make just a really nice song, especially in the story. The next song is titled What's Good, and this song, at least I think for me, is basically Tyler like, he had previously realized that he was a puppet, and I think this song is kind of him breaking out of that and not wanting to be that puppet anymore and wanting to be his own person. The beat is like crazy and dark and like all over the place, and I think it settles like great for the topic of the song pretty much. The loud bass, the drums, I think just everything adds up to make the topic of the song fit perfectly for what like the music is doing. And then like near the end it gets all soft because, as Tyler says in the lyrics, he's found the light. Like he realizes that like he doesn't have to be this puppet anymore, and he sees the light. I think on my first listen, when I listened to Igor, as I said in the beginning, I wasn't a huge fan of What's Good, but then I kept listening to it, and then I was like, oh, I get the hype now. Like, I totally like understand why this song is really good. This next song is my absolute 100% favorite off of Igor, and it is titled Gone Gone / Thank You. This song, even when I first listened to it, I fell in love with it instantly. The beat, the background vocals especially, like the bass, the beat, the vocals, pretty much just everything on this song is perfect. 10 out of 10. I like literally can't stop listening to it because it is so good and I haven't got it out of my mind. It is so good. Like, y'all just have to go and listen to it. I totally recommend it. So pretty much the story of Gone Gone Thank You is Igor, like, after What's Good, after he like sees the light, he realizes that he doesn't love this like man anymore. He doesn't realize, or like he doesn't love this man anymore because his heart got broken, and so he constantly says that his love is gone. And then near the end, and the best part of the song, he starts thanking him for being in his life, and he thanks him for letting Igor be in his life. Or Igor thanks him for letting okay, I'm confused. I'm sorry. But yeah, just this song is just so good. I listen to it constantly, and it's just 10 out of 10. Like, I can't even say anything more about it. Like, I was speechless when I first heard it for the first time. And yeah, that's just kind of the same for me now. It gets better and better every time I listen to it. But yeah, that's the story of that song. The second to last song on Igor is titled I Don't Love You Anymore. This one was also kind of a personal favorite on this album, because for most people, this is their least liked song. But for me, it's kind of got like a soft space in my heart. Like, it's kind of got that one special place, because I just kind of like really like it for some reason. The background vocals, and especially the chorus itself, are really good. The chords and just the synths and the drums and all of that fit perfectly, and I think they fit perfectly with the song topic. And the interesting thing about this song is that when Igor is doing the chorus, he constantly like screams, "I don't love you anymore," and it's kind of like he's saying it like he's forcing himself to believe that fact, even though the meaning of this song is that he's tricking himself into believing that. I think that is really creative, especially with this song. Yeah, so I've always had like a really big soft spot for I Don't Love You Anymore. I think it's a great song. I don't get why people hate it so much. Like, I think once you understand the story, as I've said constantly throughout this video, you're gonna love the music a lot more. And that's how I thought while listening to this song especially, and I just really like it. I have a soft spot for it, and I think it's just good, and I think it's overhated, and I think it's overhated and underrated. It's very good, in my opinion. And finally, the last song of IGOR, titled Are We Still Friends? This song hits so different once you understand the entire story. So, basically, at the end, Tyler doesn't believe what he said and I don't love you anymore, and he still wants to be close to this guy that he's been pursuing for the entire album. And even though he can't date him, he still wants to be friends with him because he still wants to be close to him. I think that's really interesting, and the music and the bass and the drums, the background vocals, everything just comes together so well on Are We Still Friends, and it's just perfect overall. Everything on this song just hits different, especially when you understand the entire story and just everything about it. It hits so much better than if you just listen to the song on its own. If you listen to the song on its own, it's still great. It's still very much great. But it hits way more different once you understand it all. For sure. I think this is one of the best songs on IGOR. It's got a lot of talented production. It's got a lot of talented writers, or Tyler did some very good writing on this. There's just a lot of good everything on this, and it's like a phenomenal ending to a phenomenal album. Now, the cool thing about this song is that it ends on, like, if you've ever heard the song before and you've heard the ending to the song, you've probably thought, wait, that ending kind of sounds not, like, the ending doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't sound like it concludes right. But this is where the cool part comes in. If you tie that ending with IGOR's theme at the beginning, you have a complete musical piece. Everything you just experienced is a musical loop that happens over and over again. So basically, once IGOR becomes friends with that boy again, he's gonna go through everything I mentioned in this video all over again, and the cycle's gonna start over and over and over again. That is the really cool part about this album. I can't even explain how good this album is. It's just really good, and the ending is just perfect. And with that concludes the IGOR album review and just listen through. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, do y'all now see why I like this album so much? The story is really emotional and hard-hitting. The songs, all of them are bangers. And just everything about this album comes together so well in just 12 songs. It comes a little bit too well. Like, this album automatically gets a 10 out of 10 review for me. I think it's just one of those perfect albums, and one of those albums that I feel like you could hold very dear to your heart, because every single song on this album, even if it's hated by others and loved by others too, it's still a banger for me. I think everyone who's watching this video right now should definitely just pause this, go listen to it, and then watch a video explaining the story more in detail, because even I know that I wasn't I wasn't giving out major details about Igor during this, but there are other videos that do it way better than this one. But Igor is a very sad story about love with a man, and how that love can corrupt people with jealousy and many, many other things. This album is one of Tyler's best. This album will always be close to my heart and will always be close to me forever. This is Igor.